No one is coming to save you. Not your boss, not your friends, not the system, not society, not even the people who claim they love you when things are easy. This sentence is uncomfortable because it cuts through decades of soft lies, fed to men from childhood onward. The lie says that if you behave well enough, comply enough, stay agreeable enough, someone will eventually notice and rescue you from struggle. Reality says otherwise. Reality says that men are only valued for what they can handle, what they can build, and what they can protect. Every man eventually meets a moment where excuses stop working. The bills don't care about your feelings. Responsibility doesn't pause because you are tired. Your family doesn't get fed by your intentions. And your pain, no matter how real, rarely attracts help. This is not cruelty. This is how the world functions. Men who accept this early develop strength. Men who resist it remain stuck, waiting for permission that never comes. The phrase, "become dangerous to comfort," is often misunderstood. It does not mean reckless aggression or blind anger. It means cultivating the ability to endure hardship, enforce boundaries, confront reality, and act decisively when comfort would be easier. A harmless man is not a good man. He is simply irrelevant when things go wrong. A dangerous man under control is valuable, reliable, and respected. Comfort makes promises it cannot keep. Strength makes demands it always honors. 1. The world responds to strength, not need. The first hard truth every man must face is that the world does not reward neediness. It responds to strength, competence, and reliability. A man who constantly explains his struggles may receive sympathy, but sympathy does not translate into opportunity or protection. When pressure rises, people instinctively look for the man who can handle it, not the man who needs help handling it. This is visible everywhere. In the workplace, the man who can solve problems under stress gets promoted, not the man who explains why he is overwhelmed. In families, the man who stays composed during crisis becomes the anchor, not the one who collapses emotionally. Even in friendships, men who consistently show resilience become leaders by default. This does not mean your struggles are invalid. It means they are private. Strength is not the absence of difficulty. It is the refusal to let difficulty define your behavior. Men who understand this stop advertising their pain and start converting it into competence. Waiting for rescue keeps you passive. Building strength forces you into action. One leads to stagnation, the other to progress. The world has always worked this way, and pretending otherwise only delays growth. When you need saving, you are already too late. When you build strength, you are never desperate. 2. Comfort breeds dependency, not stability. Comfort feels safe, but it is deceptive. It creates dependency by removing pressure, and pressure is what forces growth. Men who remain in comfortable routines for too long slowly lose their edge. They stop pushing limits, stop questioning assumptions, and stop preparing for adversity. Consider a man who stays in an unfulfilling job because it pays just enough and feels familiar. Years pass. Skills stagnate. Confidence erodes. When disruption eventually arrives, as it always does, he is unprepared. Comfort did not protect him. It weakened him. Becoming dangerous to comfort means deliberately choosing challenges that sharpen you. It means training your body, even when rest is tempting. It means learning difficult skills instead of numbing yourself with entertainment. It means confronting uncomfortable truths rather than hiding behind distractions. Stability is not created by avoiding discomfort. It is created by expanding your capacity to handle it. Men who understand this seek controlled hardship because they know it builds resilience. Men who don't remain fragile, hoping comfort will last forever. Comfort is a loan with brutal interest. Strength is earned once and pays forever. 3. No institution is designed to prioritize you. Many men secretly believe that some institution will eventually step in and correct their struggles. Employers, governments, communities, or social systems are expected to provide fairness, security, or rescue. This belief collapses under scrutiny. Institutions serve their own survival first. A company values profit. A government values stability. A system values efficiency. None of these entities exist to ensure your personal fulfillment or protection. When men understand this, they stop outsourcing responsibility. This realization is not cynical, it is liberating. Once you accept that no system is coming to save you, you reclaim agency. You stop waiting for policy changes, recognition, or external validation. You start building leverage through skills, savings, networks, and self-discipline. Men who rely on institutions remain vulnerable to their failures. Men who rely on themselves adapt regardless of circumstances. This is not about rebellion. It is about realism. No system owes you survival. Self-reliance turns uncertainty into advantage. 4. Emotional control is a survival skill. Being dangerous to comfort requires emotional discipline. This is not suppression, it is control. Men who allow emotions to dictate behavior become predictable and easily manipulated. Men who master emotional regulation remain effective under pressure. In real life, crises rarely announce themselves politely. Financial emergencies, family health issues, and professional conflicts arrive suddenly. The man who can stay calm, assess options, and act decisively becomes invaluable. The man who reacts emotionally adds chaos to an already difficult situation. This skill is learned through exposure to discomfort, cold decisions, hard conversations, delayed gratification. Each moment of controlled response strengthens emotional endurance. Men who avoid discomfort never develop this muscle. They crumble when stakes rise. Men who train under pressure become steady, not numb. Their emotions inform decisions without controlling them. Calm under pressure is not talent. It is practiced dominance over self. 5. Responsibility is the fastest path to respect. Respect is not granted because you are kind or well-intentioned. It emerges when people see that you can be relied upon. Responsibility is the foundation of that trust. Men who take ownership of outcomes, even when circumstances are unfair, separate themselves quickly. In families, the man who consistently handles obligations becomes the backbone. In teams, the man who delivers regardless of obstacles becomes indispensable. This is not about martyrdom, it is about capability. Avoiding responsibility feels lighter in the short term. Taking it on feels heavy. But weight builds strength. Men who shoulder responsibility develop confidence rooted in experience, not ego. This is why dangerous men are respected. They can handle what others avoid. They don't seek comfort, they manage chaos. Responsibility does not crush strong men, it reveals them. 6. Weak men hope. Strong men prepare. Hope is comforting, but preparation is effective. Men who rely on hope assume favorable outcomes. Men who prepare assume nothing and build margins of safety. Preparation looks boring. Budgeting, training, skill development, emergency planning. These acts lack drama, but they compound powerfully over time. When crisis hits, hope evaporates, preparation remains. The prepared man does not panic. He adjusts, he acts, he leads. Becoming dangerous to comfort means sacrificing short-term pleasure for long-term readiness. It means planning for outcomes you would rather not imagine. Hope is emotional. Preparation is practical. 7. Boundaries require strength to enforce. Boundaries sound simple when spoken, but they are rarely easy to live by. A boundary only exists when it is tested. Until that moment, it is just an idea. Many men believe they have boundaries because they express discomfort or hint at dissatisfaction. In reality, boundaries require the ability to withstand tension. Without that ability, boundaries collapse the moment someone pushes back. Men who avoid confrontation often describe themselves as patient, understanding, or accommodating. On the surface, this looks like maturity. But over time, the cost becomes visible. Needs go unspoken. Limits are crossed quietly. Resentment builds in places where honesty should have lived. This is not kindness. It is fear of discomfort disguised as virtue. A man with strength does not need to explain himself repeatedly. He sets limits clearly and calmly, knowing that conflict is sometimes the price of self-respect. He does not raise his voice or issue threats. He follows through. This follow-through changes how people treat him, not because he is intimidating, but because he is consistent. In relationships, this creates clarity instead of confusion. In professional environments, it establishes reliability. Enforcing boundaries is uncomfortable because it risks rejection, misunderstanding, or temporary loss. But avoiding that discomfort leads to a slow erosion of dignity. Men who never enforce boundaries often find themselves exhausted, bitter, and quietly angry at a world they never corrected. Strength allows honesty to exist without apology. Comfort prefers silence, even when silence corrodes. A boundary without strength is a suggestion. 8. Pain is a teacher, not an enemy. Pain is one of the few forces that speaks honestly. Yet many men are taught to avoid it at all costs, to numb it, distract from it, or treat it as failure. This avoidance creates repetition. The same mistakes return in different forms because their lessons were never learned. Pain does not arrive to punish. It arrives to instruct. Anyone who has trained their body understands this principle instinctively. Muscles grow because they are stressed beyond comfort and then allowed to recover. Without that stress, there is no growth. The same logic applies to character. Emotional pain exposes weak habits. Mental strain reveals poor preparation. Discomfort highlights priorities that comfort hides. Men who flee pain rush to escape responsibility, relationships, or challenges the moment things become difficult. In doing so, they carry the same unresolved patterns forward. Men who stay present with pain, who ask what it is revealing rather than how to escape it, change permanently. They adapt. They refine judgment. They mature. Pain handled properly does not harden men into bitterness. It sharpens them into clarity. Avoided pain multiplies. Understood pain transforms. Pain ignored repeats. Pain understood transforms. 9. Leadership is claimed, not assigned. Leadership rarely begins with a title. It begins with action, taken when others hesitate. In moments of uncertainty, most people wait for direction, approval, or reassurance. The man who steps forward does so not because he is fearless, but because he accepts responsibility for outcomes. Many men delay action because they are waiting to be chosen. They wait for authority, validation, or a clear invitation. But leadership does not work that way. It emerges when someone is willing to make a decision and stand by it. Dangerous men move first because their judgment has been tested through experience. They trust it enough to act. This does not mean recklessness. It means preparation, paired with decisiveness. When problems arise, leaders do not disappear into discussion. They assess, decide, and move. Others follow because clarity is rare in chaos. Leadership is not control over people. It is responsibility accepted when it would be easier to stay silent. Authority follows responsibility, not the other way around. When others freeze, leaders move. 10. Self-respect comes from kept promises. The most reliable source of confidence is not praise from others. It is trust in yourself. That trust is built quietly through promises, kept when no one is watching. Comfort makes excuses sound reasonable. Strength demands action regardless of mood. Every broken promise to yourself weakens internal credibility. Over time, this creates doubt. Men begin to question their own word. They hesitate. They delay. In contrast, each kept promise, especially small and uncomfortable ones, builds a foundation of self-respect that cannot be shaken by external opinion. Dangerous men are not perfect. They fail. But they do not negotiate with themselves endlessly. When they commit, they follow through. This consistency creates calm confidence, not arrogance. It shows in posture, decisions, and presence. Self-respect is not something granted by others. It is earned through discipline, practiced in private. Self-respect is earned in private. On a final note, no one is coming to save you. This is not a sentence of despair. It is an invitation to maturity. When men accept this truth, they stop waiting and start building. Becoming dangerous to comfort means choosing discipline over ease, preparation over hope, responsibility over avoidance. It means becoming the man others rely on when things fall apart. The world does not need more comfortable men. It needs capable ones. Strength is not loud, it simply shows up when required.